Hey guys, welcome back to SwissWatchExpo. Vlad is here, and today we're going to talk about two watches. But in this conversation, we're also going to discuss two very famous divers, people who actually exploded this industry and make it possible for a lot of watch lovers to use their timepieces under the water. Welcome back, guys. And as I said, we're going to discuss two different watches that are commemorating two very special divers for the industry. We're going to talk about this IWC Aquatimer and Omega Apnea, Omega Seamaster Apnea. So let's first start with the IWC. So this beautiful IWC Aquatimer is made to commemorate the memory of the Jacques Yves Cousteau, one of the most famous divers and the person who actually popularizes a way of living and actually make a lot of documentaries about the sea. So I'm sure that when I was a kid, I was watching a couple of them, and I'm sure that a lot of people here also watch a lot of documentaries from Jacques Yves Cousteau about his sea exploration. This piece was first originally introduced in 2010 to commemorate the 100 years after the birth of Jacques Yves Cousteau. The watch comes in the 45.6 millimeter and it's 15.2 millimeter thick. It's powered by IWC caliber 79320. And the most important thing about this timepiece is the setup on the dial and the bezel. It's a very beautiful piece, and it's kind of more a beauty diver than other than that, because this gorgeous rhodium dial with the blue subdials and a lot of elements on the watch, that's what IWC was aiming to. So it's not a very practical watch, but more to commemorate the rich history of the person that this watch was made for. So to make it more special for Jacques Yves Cousteau collectors, we have the Jacques Yves Cousteau signature under the day and date complication, and also commemorative case back where it's with Jacques Yves Cousteau portrait and the date when he was originally born and the watch was issued to. So beautiful timepiece, and a little bit more about the Jacques Yves Cousteau and what his achievements brought to us. He was the person who actually co-invented the scuba, the self-contained underwater breathing apparatus, or also known as aqualung. So very, very big discovery by this guy and the people who he working with. And he spent all his life by kind of like experiencing those things and going under the water with the aqualungs to give us a little bit more insight of what's going on out there. And next timepiece we're going to discuss today is this beautiful Seamaster Apnea. And this watch was made to commemorate the death of very famous French diver Jacques Mayol. Jacques Mayol was a little bit different from Jacques Yves Cousteau. So Cousteau tried to develop and bring the aqualungs and tried to spend much more time under the water, whereas Jacques Mayol was a free diver. And he set a couple of records on the free dive. So what's a free diving? It's when you dive under the water without any support, without any breathing apparatus, and you can only spend as much time as you can hold your breath on. So two of the records of Jacques Mayol, it was in 49 years old, which is kind of old in nowadays standards. He actually was able to dive underneath the water for 100 meters. And he also broke his own record when he was 54, and he dived under the water for 105 meters. Now all those records was broken, but at that time when he did it, it was very, very impressive. And the same thing is about this Omega watch that Omega presented to commemorate his memory. The Apnea is very different watch in the Seamaster collection. First of all, what a lot of Omega collectors know right away, this watch does not come with the helium escape valve, which is unusual for the Seamaster. Because this is made specifically for the free diving. So this watch is not made to go underneath the water and to be decompressed that much, but just for like a free diving. So it's up to like 100, 200, 300 meters underneath the surface. Second of all, also what you kind of can notice on this watch, there is no second hand. Because this watch is again made for this free diving, and the function of this watch is not to just count your minutes and hours on the chronograph. Is actually made to count the 14 minutes under the water. So that's kind of the absolute record that people cannot really achieve, but they're trying to. The longest time that person was underneath the water or like holding their breath was 11 minutes. So this watch is set up to show you 14 minutes, and you can see how much time you spent under the water when you're free diving. So beautiful timepiece, a very unusual setup to show in those minutes. It's actually come with those indicators between 9 and 6, the 9 and 3 that looks like a balloons that change their colors from black to red. So it's super visible under the water. The dial is matte, so you will be able to see it very, very easily. The watch comes in a 42mm K shape. It's a little bit thicker because it's a professional diver, so you will have to kind of adjust to the thickness of this watch, and all the finish is brushed. So underneath the water, nothing will reflect the lights, and you will be able to see everything that the watch shows you extremely conveniently. Also, the handset is all different. So you have a different minute hand, you different hour hand, and you have a different second hand for the chronograph. So very special piece to commemorate very special person in the diving community. So we have those two beautiful pieces that made to commemorate the memory of two very famous people in industry, and I'm sure it will be a great addition to collection for people who love divers and was a fans of those two beautiful people. So if you are interested, just please give us a call at SwissWatchExpo. We'll be happy to help you, and we'll be able to give you a more update into like a diver watches that we have in our inventory.